What's up guys, TSI Dominator here again, and for the second time today, we are starting something new. Now, yes, I know we've literally just came off of the back of a Fez episode, and we are skipping a fair few games on the channel here. But let me explain. Today we will be playing Assassin's Creed Origins, but instead of playing the main game, we're going to just leave that. Because frankly, that's not even an undertaking I want to think about. Besides, I've already played through most of these games over on the Glitch Hunter channel, which you can go and watch in that playlist. But instead of doing the main campaign of Origins, what we're going to do is what is referred to as the... Oh, for fuck's sake. Do I really need to do this? I think I may need to start the game just to... Right. Thank you for purchasing the first DLC, blah blah blah. Thank you for purchasing... yeah. Aye, got them. Yeah, so that's basically what the... All your rewards are free. Sweet! But, yeah, we're gonna... Instead of going to the main bit, we're going to be going to DiscoveryToR, which is basically like a giant virtual museum of the world of Assassin's Creed Origins, which, if anyone knows the game, which I'm assuming there's a fair lot of you, is ancient Egypt. Now, I'll admit, I wasn't a big fan of the whole topic of ancient Egypt until this game came out. And then I sunk 100 hours into it. Which, for an RPG, is definitely saying something. But, yeah. We're going to be doing the DiscoveryToR for a fair bit, guys, because I'm kind of wanting to see how this turns out as a Let's Play series. I'm not really holding out much hope for anything, but at the same time I'm kind of curious, so I'm literally just doing this to satisfy a little bit of a curiosity in the back of my head. Just give this some time. There's also a DiscoveryToR for its sequel Origins, for Origins sequel Odyssey. With content created by Egyptologists and hundreds of images sourced from museums and libraries around the world, we hope to share with you the passion it inhabited us for the 4 years it took to develop Assassin's Creed Origins. Did that say something before that? I wasn't reading.
Welcome to DiscoveryToR by Assassin's Creed Ancient Egypt.
So yeah, we're going to start going through... Guided tours will take you through majestic landmarks and acquaint you with the ancient Egyptians and their culture. So yeah, after we finish all... Enjoy the vast panoramas of this beautiful country through the eyes of your ego, or use an avatar to climb to the very top of the Great Pyramid. Do not tempt me. Navigate a boat along the banks of the River Nile, or ride a horse across deserts and lush, fertile lands. Meaning most of it's going to be sand. And when a view truly captures your fascination, blah blah blah, something about photo mode, we hope you enjoy this experience. Oh, I have no doubt I will. But, yeah, so hopefully we can just play through this, have a nice bit of a banter in the comments, and learn a bit about ancient Egypt together. But first, I need to turn on this. I'm going to turn on the subtitles. Gameplay. How do I turn on the subtitles? There we go. Subtitle speaker. Okay. Right, we're just going to very quickly change to our character because these are all, well, right, I'm going to just pick Greek. I want to like pick. Okay, we'll go Egyptian nobleman. Right. Use left stick to move your character to the start of the tour. Okay. Right. Alexandria. Planning of the city. Number of stations 8. Region Alexandria. Learn about the design and layout of the city of Alexandria. Estimated time 6 minutes. Sweet.
Welcome to Alexandria. Planning of the city.
So yeah, they'll be doing most of the narrating for us guys, but I'm going to try and like give my own little thoughts on it when I can.
Alexander's plan to build his great city began with a verse from Homer's Odyssey. There is, in front of Egypt, in the sea with many swells, an island called Pharos. Guided by these clues, Alexander the Great founded his future city at the western end of the Nile Delta.
Okay. So, how are we today, Sage? It's good. I don't need to have like a laptop open to read your comments now. They just pop up. So yeah, I hope you like learning, Sage, because this is basically one big. I'm feeling a bit weird considering I'm playing something educational.
Location ideal for his great city. It
Oh
presented
Christ, this is a long
considerable
one.
challenges. Too difficult to access during storms, the surrounding swamps threatened disease, and the limestone soil prevented the growth of healthy crops.
Okay.
However, due to the influence of his mentor Aristotle, Alexander the Great recognized that the true value was its strategic emplacement. Alexander knew that in controlling Pelusium to the east, Memphis to the south, and his crowning glory Alexandria to the west, he would create a triangular stronghold, allowing him to control the entire delta while giving him access to the Mediterranean.
Okay. Right. Next.
The great walls of Alexandria had a humble beginning. Lacking chalk to outline the future city's foundations, architects were forced to use flour instead. Clouds of migrating birds swept down and ate the flour, erasing the plans. This prompted Alexander to seek guidance from the oracles, who reassured him that his future city was destined to feed a large population.
Just give me a second, guys. Right. Just put on live chat. This game's realism is immaculate. Yep. Yeah, I didn't want to start playing the campaign because I'm playing through all the games over in the Glitch Hunter channel, so having to play through them again just kind of makes me want to shoot myself.
And 2.2 kilometers in width. It was roughly 9 meters in height.
Yep, sorry what? Revealed that the wall enclosure measured approximately 5.2 kilometers in length and 2.2 kilometers in width. Jesus Christ! Right. Yeah. Mind you, I started a Let's Play of the first game on this channel a while ago. I say a while ago, a few years at least. I just stopped it, but I really do need to get back to it.
It wasn't until 295 CE that they eventually fell to Roman Emperor Diocletian, and this only after 8 months of relentless assault.
Right. Where's the ancient walls of resistance? King of the... Fending off the king of Syria. Jesus. Oh. We have a mount? I am not riding that. No, 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 no. Is there a way I can... Oh, what? I don't want to have to ride a camel. These things are slow. Come on, move.
Alexandria's principal architect, Dinocrates, chose a Hippodamian grid plan. The
Epidemic.
grid maximized functionality, with wide straight roads and canals running beneath them. Alexander recognized the military value of the city's design. The wide parallel streets gave him optimal surveillance of the city, while allowing the unobstructed flow of troops.
Okay. It's not... Forgive me, but that just doesn't seem like they're... I don't get it. I don't get, like, the military appeal of it. I honestly don't. Come on, move. There we go. Is it just because I'm this skin that I'm getting a camel?
A central corridor ran from the Mediterranean's north port down to Lake Mareotis to the south. This thoroughfare acted as an unobstructed link for commercial trade and travel between the two ports. Many of the streets were bordered with grand buildings.
Is the audio
and
for this coming
parks,
through alright, Sage?
including Canopic Street, with its impressive gate bordering the eastern end.
Many of the streets were bordered with grand buildings and parks, including Canopic Street. Okay. Christ! Alexandria is a big city. Right. Whoa! Easy, 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 camel.
Was most likely built upon an already existing Egyptian village. Upon its completion, the Egyptians reviled the city, refusing to call it by its founder's name. Instead, they called it Raked, the building, as a mark of disdain, which was later Hellenized into Rakotis. Despite this, the name Alexandria
Gonna be
would
teaching while
remain.
watching. Alright. Fair enough. And that's the first tour completed. Now, welcome to Discover Tour by Assassin's Creed. You can now explore ancient Egypt at your own pace or select options to choose a new tour by opening the pause menu. That's alright out with me. If you've got something to do in the background, that's okay. Not going to force anything. Right. Oh, that's a lot of... That's a lot of tours. Oh, there's 14 in Alexandria, 20 in Egypt, 16 for the pyramids, 20 in daily life, and 5 for Romans. Now, what category do I go for? Actually, you know what? I'm going to change my character first. Can I get like a Roman soldier or something? Sweet! Or do I go for Greek? No, we're not going Greek. Ptolemaic soldier? We'll go for Ptolemaic soldier. Right, that takes us... That's that one finished. So, what category do we go for? 20? 16? You know what, we'll go to the pyramids. Why not? Secrets of the Great Pyramid. Pyramid of Giza, the Great Pyramid. Understand the structure of the... Oh, that could be a lot one. Oh, yikes. This is a 15-1. Okay. We'll do the secrets of the Great Pyramid. At least it gets us to the pyramid so I can jump off them. Ptolemaic dynasty lasted from 332 to 30 BC. Yikes. 302 years. Current library in Alexandria has a copy of all the web pages on every website on the internet since it started in 96. Jesus. Right. And just like that, we are away from Alexandria and in the middle of the fucking desert. Oh, and now I get a decent horse. I'm guessing the horse you get is dependent on your skin. The secrets of the Great Pyramid. Number of stations 15. Region Giza. Understand the structure of the Great Pyramid. Estimated time 9 minutes. Let's
Welcome
start.
to Secrets of the Great Pyramid.
This is going to take a while. Right, what have we got?
Built around 2550 BCE, The Great Pyramid of Giza is considered one of the most iconic structures of Egypt.
They wanna
It
look
is
at
the
it.
biggest of the pyramids and the only one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world still standing. The numbers associated to the Great Pyramid of Giza are impressive. A workforce of over
Isn't the Great Wall of China
20,000 people,
Wonder of the
6
World?
million tons of stone, and 20
Oh,
years
Wonder
of
of the Ancient
construction.
World. Never mind.
It was a massive undertaking for a pharaoh's tomb.
Okay.
Yeah. Whoa.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
The construction of the Great Pyramid was also a display of power and opulence on the part of Khufu. It is part of the
Khufu?
pharaoh's vast funerary complex, which also includes 2 temples, 3 satellite pyramids, a causeway, and a builder's necropolis. We can guess that the intent behind the construction of these monuments was Khufu's way of declaring himself one of the most powerful pharaohs to rule a unified Egypt.
So it was basically just saying showing off how big his dick was.
New
Basically
insights
just
into
saying,
engineering and
yes,
ancient
I'm the one in
Egyptian
charge, so
culture are still
worship
being
me.
revealed over 4,500 years later. For example, a recently unearthed papyrus offers a glimpse into the life of a tradesman at the time of the pyramid's construction. Also, a logbook belonging to a team leader during the building gives details on the craftsmen, their work schedules, and the raw materials required.
Okay, and behind this is a papyrus telling the daily lives of port workers who transported huge limestone blocks to Cairo during King Khufu's rule. And I don't understand hieroglyphics, so if I did, that'd be quite interesting.
Whoa.
Second
It
solar
is
board.
interesting to note that by Cleopatra's time, the pyramid's celestial purpose, its construction, and the function of its mysterious inner chambers was already unclear. Today, it is only through dedicated research that we have begun to grasp some of the Great Pyramid's mysteries.
Well, let's be honest, the entirety of the ancient world is still mysterious. I mean, it's not just
Whoa.
ancient Egypt, it's
The Egyptians
Roman
had
Greece,
polished their
eh?
design for centuries by the time work on the Great Pyramid began. Intended as a tomb for Khufu, the Great Pyramid's structural design has been considered to be nearly perfect by engineers and historians ever since.
Has been considered to be nearly perfect. And then that's an ivory statue of Khufu from Abydos.
Precisely oriented north-south to the 4 cardinal points of a compass, the length of each side of the Great Pyramid at its base was 230 meters, and its original height was 147 meters. The pyramid is a mere 0.05% error away from being a perfect square.
0.5% error. That can't have been intentional. Surely not. I mean, math wasn't really... Actually, wait. Math was a concept at this point. Because Odyssey is set before this. Yeah, we might have had a wee bit of math going on. Maybe that was the point. To get the 0.5% off from being a perfect square. Huh. Interesting.
Whoa.
In order to achieve the shape of a true pyramid, the design required many considerations in the planning phases as well as precision during execution. It was especially critical that they control the angle of inclination on all sides at every stage of construction.
So you wanted like a slope. Okay.
Materials for the Great Pyramid consisted of quarried limestone blocks, weighing between 2 to 15 tons each. The
Tons.
methods of moving these blocks into place is still debated by architects and Egyptologists. The precision of its design in an age with only soft metal tools, as well as the enormous scale of its construction, make the Great Pyramid one of the most impressive feats of human engineering.
And that was just The chisel that's people would use. Jesus. Wait, 2 to 15 tons? Only fucking wonder looking at the size of them, Jesus Christ. How would you move something like that?
Whoa.
An artificial
It's
mountain.
estimated that it took between 600,000 and 2 million blocks of stone to build the Great Pyramid.
Okay.
Experts calculate it would have required men to move 12 blocks every hour around the clock for 20 years to place the 2.3 million stones the monument is made of.
20 years. It would have required men to move 12 blocks every hour around the clock, 24/7, for 20 years to place the 2.3 million stones the monument is made of. Jesus. That's scary. And if I remember correctly, most of the people who made this were slaves. Right, I need to get off this horse because I can't climb this.
While the interior chambers were built with red granite from a swan, most of the pyramid was made from local limestone, weighing between 2 to 15 tons per block. There is debate on how the pyramid stones were moved into place. Recent research is exploring the idea that it was built around a large interior ramp.
Okay. Is that an open bit there? I'm going to see if I can get to that open bit. Can you just give me a second? I'll be back in a moment. What's in here? What is this? Is this just a weathered bit? It looks like just a weathered bit. Yeah, it's just a weathered bit. Okay. Right.
The recently discovered logbook confirms that the high-quality limestone of the outer casing was brought by boat across the Nile from a quarry in Tura. Once complete, the smooth white polished stone of the Great Pyramid would have reflected the sunlight like a beacon, earning it the name the Horizon of Khufu.
Viceroy's boat, Tomb of Hoi. Okay. Visited
Over the
monument.
centuries, thieves and travelers attempted to access the Great Pyramid numerous times. Ancient writings describe details of its interior, proof that some made their way within, though who gained entrance first and when is unknown.
Marble bust of Herodotus, historian in the 5th century BCE, who we also meet in Odyssey. Entrances
The
of
main
the Great
entrance
Pyramid.
of the Great Pyramid is located 17 meters above ground level. It faces north, likely in order to align with the North Star. Though the entrance passageway had been discovered in antiquity, any further access into the Great Pyramid was stopped by massive vertical slabs of rock. As such, present-day visitors to the pyramid must use the robber's entrance.
The robber's entrance. And may I ask what that is? But really, clues in the name, isn't it? Whoa!
The robber's entrance is reported to have been opened in the 9th century by Caliph al-Mamun. In search of treasure, the Caliph had his men dig their way inside the Great Pyramid.
Prick.
The most likely scenario is that they enlarged a corridor which had been created by tomb robbers during antiquity. As such, this is how the team can justify access to this wonder.
Okay. Oh yeah, so some of these tours will have bits that are behind the scenes. So this is the robber's entrance then. Okay. Let's go in, shall we?
Attempts to gain entry to the Great Pyramid and uncover its potential secrets continued throughout the centuries. In the 19th century, the belief that another entry existed at the south side resulted in a hole being blasted into the pyramid's side, with no results for the damage that was done. While the search is still ongoing today to uncover more hidden rooms and passageways, conservation is the primary concern of all such efforts.
Yeah, because chances are, if you're going to blast a hole in the pyramid, you need to be careful, because if you blast a big enough one, it's going to come down on top of you. So, because look at that, that looks like it's caved in a fair bit. Think about it, you start blasting holes in something, it's going to weaken it, and if you weaken it, you bring it down. It's just science. The Great Pyramid of Giza. Upper Chambers. Number of stations 18. Region Giza. Learn more about the internal structure of the Great Pyramid, and more specifically, the Upper Chambers. Should take 10 minutes.
Welcome
Fair
to
enough.
the Great Pyramid of Giza. At the entrance of the ascending passage are 3 granite flagstones estimated to weigh up to 25 tons each. They were used to protect the Great Pyramid from thieves. Undaunted by the granite blocks, the thieves simply dug into the softer limestone around them, thus creating the robber's entrance.
Okay. Another great.
While in reality, the robber's entrance is one single cavity which leads to both passages. In the game, the team created individual accesses to either passage. As such, in the game, one entrance leads to the ascending passage, while another leads to the descending passage.
Okay. Ah, that's very true. One leads to the descending, one leads to the ascending.
The ascending passageway of the Great Pyramid provides a direct path into the Grand Gallery and is accessed 30 meters from the entrance along the descending corridor.
Okay.
Both corridors have similar dimensions and are designed with the same 26-degree incline.
Why 26? Smooth
The ascending
masonry.
corridor has smooth masonry on its walls, and the layout includes many trapezoidal stones. Both the floor and ceiling of the passageway indicate that the passage was enlarged, possibly during or after the funeral, to allow workers room to move granite blocks meant to plug the corridor. The Grand Gallery's purpose is still debated among experts. It may have been intended to align with the stars, act as a buffer to protect the King's Chamber, or simply to facilitate the transport of the granite blocks used inside the pyramid. Access to the Queen's Chamber was at the beginning of the Grand Gallery.
But the Pharaoh himself was kept further in. Are you seriously going to make me crouch? Thought I was playing Assassin's Creed on fucking Splinter Cell. Just in case we end up going into a dark place.
Though this room is referred to as the Queen's Chamber, it is believed that there was no queen buried here.
What the fuck?
Based on their knowledge of earlier pyramids, Egyptologists believe it was more likely intended as the king's serdab, a chamber meant to contain the Ka statue, which would in turn house the king's spirit.
And that's the statue of the royal Ka of Tutankhamun. 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 I don't know how you say it. Is it Tutankhamun or Tutankhamun? I've heard everyone say Tutankhamun.
Situated
but
exactly within the pyramid's center, on the east-west axis of the pyramid, the chamber has a vaulted ceiling and measures 5.7 by 5.2 meters. In the eastern wall, there is a niche tucked away in a small corbelled archway, which may have originally held the Ka statue.
oh no.
Behind this niche is another smaller hole.
You haven't got a whole
possibly
class
dug out by
watching my
thieves
stream, have
in
you?
search of further treasure.
Oh, please tell me you don't. Analyzing game art in the process. Fair enough. Right.
In the 19th century, 2 shafts were found running through the north and south walls. They each run in a...
Why would you put that to a vote? I have to ask. Why did you put it to a vote?
horizontal line for 2 meters before sloping upward, and both are closed off with limestone blocks fitted with copper handles. Whether they were intended as ventilation shafts for workers or a celestial connection for the pharaoh's spirit is unconfirmed.
It's probably the most I've ever had watching a stream at one time. Okay, so I have to ask, do you want me to mind my language now? Because I don't want to traumatize anyone with my choice of language. Which after this is a test. Your funeral. Right. Sorry. What was the... Okay. No, they're high school. You're good. Okay. Right. What does that say? 2 mysterious shafts. In the 19th century, 2 shafts were found running through the north and south walls. They each run in the horizontal line for 2 meters before sloping upward, and both are closed off with limestone blocks fitted with copper handles. Whether they were intended as ventilation shafts for workers or a celestial connection for the pharaoh spirit is unconfirmed. Okay. An unknown hidden cavity. Holy crap, I can't read.
An unknown cavity hidden behind the
Hey up,
north
Mohammed,
face
how are
of
you?
the walls over the descending corridor. Further investigation is still ongoing to ascertain the nature of the anomaly, so as to avoid risking damage to the monument.
Behind the north face of the walls of the descending corridor. I'm good, it's been a while. Okay. No, hidden behind the north face of the walls. Am I facing north? Fair enough. Get round. Oh, no, don't run the wall. Go down the corridor. Down the corridor. Am I even going the right way? Yeah, we're good. Right, the Grand Gallery.
Khufu's architects were possibly influenced by
So,
earlier
Sage, I have to ask,
Rhombordal
what made you
pyramids
like
when designing the
consider
gallery?
even give you the idea of showing this to your
It is the longest
students?
vault ever built, measuring 47 meters long and 8.6 meters high. The walls were made to taper inward, allowing for better distribution of weight. As a result, the ceiling measures just over 1 meter wide at its highest point. Though this construction technique is present in other pyramids, few have the same precision and stability.
Whoa. Sorry guys, phone vibrated. That gave me a bit of a scare there. Right, so view of the gallery. That's missing an L. Somebody messed up with the spelling at the top there. View of the gallery of the Grand Pyramid taken from below and above. Detail from the bottom of the gallery. Back then I didn't like RPG games. Honestly, I might do this more often with them. They are actually quiet for once. I'm sorry, forgive my language, but I have to call bullshit. Since when are high school students quiet? I know for a fact my class is went. Mohammed, Assassin's Creed Origins is a great game, but back then I didn't like RPG games. I'll agree with that opinion, Mohammed. I didn't like RPG games, then I played Origins.
While the space is visually
But we're not doing the campaign, as you can see, we're doing the Discovery Tour, so this is all a learning experience. And I just realised this is
Still, the wall
educational.
design was undoubtedly meant to contribute to the stability of the structure, and its
Damn.
floor may have helped workers move the materials.
Folk usually
A
hate
channel
educational
runs along
games.
the middle of the room. A movable floor originally rested in this central recess. The raised benches on
But hey,
either
if that's
side
what keeps your
are
class
equipped
quiet,
with
Sage,
slots that may have been used to help position the granite blocking stones.
I can't really offer an opinion. Oh, that didn't have any picture or anything to see, so... Right, next.
At the end of the Grand Gallery is the entrance to the antechamber leading to the King's
This goes
Chamber.
towards the grades now.
Directly above, there is another narrower horizontal passage that connects to the top of the King's Chamber and allow the workers
Are you actually
access
telling them
to
to
the
take all
weight
this in?
relief rooms.
Right, sorry, I completely skipped over that. What did that say? At the end of the Grand Gallery is the entrance to the antechamber leading to the King's Chamber. Directly above there is another narrower horizontal passage that connects to the top of the King's Chamber and allowed the workers access to the weight relief rooms. Sorry, I just need to take a drink. Yeah, they can hear you. Oh god.
The far end of the Grand Gallery leads to a small antechamber with a portcullis, preventing access to the King's Chamber. The portcullis was composed of 3 separate granite slabs. They were designed to be lowered into place and seal the chamber after the burial of the king. The grooves dug out to hold the slabs in place are still clearly visible to this day. The elaborate locking system was composed of a series of grooves for the ropes and pulleys that dropped the stones into place like the notches on a key.
Is he done? Mohammed, are you trying to kill me with kindness here? Because you're succeeding. Okay, I didn't want to say anything until that guy had finished talking. Oh look, Mohammed, that...
For the purposes of the game, the team elected to remove the portcullis slabs in order to grant the player access to the King's Chamber. In reality, workers would have backed out of the room after the funeral, lowering each slab into place behind them one at a time. Each of the 3 stones were smashed by looters centuries later, and evidence of their break-in is still evident.
Respect for the dead? Anyone? Am I the only one who thinks that's sick? But I found it quite funny that they would have backed out and then put a slab down. Back up, slab, back up, slab, back up, slab, back up, slab. Is this technically grave robbing considering I am inside the pyramid?
The King's Chamber is built entirely out of red granite. The King's Chamber measures 5.8 meters in height. It has an imposing cover of 5 stacked levels above, with granite beams weighing 25 to 40 tons each. The uppermost level is surmounted by a vault of stone,
40?
arranged in chevrons to bear the enormous structural load.
Enormous is putting it lightly, Jesus Christ.
As in the Queen's Chamber, 2 shafts extend out from the room towards the north and south faces of the pyramid. They measure nearly 64 meters until they are blocked by copper-handled granite plugs. Some experts in the culture of the Old Kingdom believe that the shafts were thought to lead the king's soul to the stars, with the incarnation of the pharaoh as the god Ra, represented by the northern well, and the god Horus by the southern well.
Cut of Cheops pyramid. Okay. Right. That's interesting.
There is a granite sarcophagus at the west end of the room, but it is the concealed construction inscriptions left by workmen on the roof's stones which verify this as the resting place of Khufu.
Khufu.
The sarcophagus was recorded as being empty when it was discovered, and its design indicates that
Yes.
there was once a lid in
No,
place.
no, you aren't.
It's possible that this
I was saying yes because I agree with
is
you.
only a sentence
My apologies,
in memory
Mohammed,
of the pharaoh.
if that came
It
across
was never
badly.
actually meant to
No,
deceive
you're
the
not the
body.
only one. I think that too, because it's just getting boring doing what you're doing in the games now.
Khufu's mummy was never found. It is hoped
Then it wasn't buried,
that
there was
as of
it.
yet undiscovered hidden rooms and shafts of the pyramid may provide an answer
Ow.
as to its location.
And there we go, another tour completed. The Great Pyramid of Giza, upper chambers, but the question is, this is a new one. Jean-Pierre Houdin's theories. Number of stations 8. Learn about Jean-Pierre Houdin's theories on ancient Egyptian construction techniques in the Great Pyramid. Oh, I loved when it was mostly parkour. Very much. Right. I will be back in just a minute, guys, because I need to go to the toilet, but Sage, if your class is still watching, I would like to give them a bit of a question for them. Would they want to do this tour next, this Jean-Pierre Houdin's theories, or would they like to do one in either of these categories? How about we let them choose? Take your time. Majority vote states whichever is the hardest are the secrets of the Great Pyramid. Oh, so they just want to see me suffer. I see it the way it is. Alright. By hardest, that will be the biggest amount of stations. Wait, did I? $101. Holy crap. I just realised that. I could cry. I could genuinely cry. Right. Whichever is the hardest, or the secrets of the Great Pyramid. Right, we've done this. We've done the secrets of the Great Pyramid. We've finished that one. And that was the one that we got when. I think that was the one we were. No, we were doing upper chambers when Mohammed joined. But they want the hardest, so that means we need to go to the one that takes the longest. Right, that's 20 stations. Remember that number, 20. But I've got a feeling that one's going to be a lot longer than that. 14. Okay. If I remember correctly, 22. We have 22. 25. Oh, no way, man. Okay, Romans, you have 25 to beat. Nowhere close. Right. Maybe Bowen now because I'm giving extra credit. No, don't. Please don't. Don't make me a part of the course, please. I really don't want any parents hunting me down. You are one evil woman, Sage. Right, I'm going to say this much. The hardest thing that they said means the most stations. So we've got 25 stations here. But it's the fact that it's about one of the most boring topics even I can't be arsed listening to. It's an art class, the games you play have good reference. Huh. Okay. Not gonna say anything. Right. Number of stations, 25. Region, Memphis. Learn about the influence of temples in Egyptian society and the role of the pharaoh and priest in ancient rituals. Estimated time, 8 minutes. What? How the hell do you expect to fit at 25 stations into 8 minutes? This has to be some sorcery.
Welcome to temples and priests.
Shut up.
From its foundation, the city of Memphis favored worship of the god Ptah. The main temple of Ptah was known as Hutkaptah, meaning Palace of the Ka of Ptah. The name
MLM.
of the temple, translated into Greek as Aegyptos, would eventually evolve into the modern name Egypt.
Aegyptos. Huh? Main temple of Ptah was known as Hutkaptah, meaning Palace of the Ka of Ptah. What noises are these people making? The main temple of Ptah was known as Hutkaptah. Wait, Hutkaptah. What the fuck? Meaning Palace of the Ka of Ptah. The name of the temple, translated into Greek as Aegyptos, would eventually evolve into the modern name Egypt. What does MLM stand for? Muslim Lives Matter. I didn't even know that was a thing. But frankly, I'm just... Basically, I'm for all lives matter, Mohammed. That's my way of looking at it. But we're not going to get into topics like that. We'll just avoid that.
Temples were the center of religious, political, and economic life in ancient Egypt. These sacred places were viewed as the literal home of the gods and goddesses. As such, every aspect of them required care and reverence, all of which was accomplished through elaborate ritual.
Hermopolis with its temple. Oh, Christ. We've got sphinxes here. Hutkaptah.
Located
Scott's
in the center of
good.
Memphis, the Temple of
I've given him
Ptah
heads
was
up,
the
Sage,
most
that you were going to ask him about.
prominent building in the city.
Yeah, no,
The long
we're not
walkway
going to get
leading
into
toward
the
temple,
political
known as
topics,
the Dromos,
or
was
here
guarded
or
by
ever.
rows of sphinxes.
I'm saying that
The
right now.
entire sacred area was designed to keep the statue of the god protected, deep within the sacred enclosures that surrounded it.
Temple of Ptah again with this. What is with the people just saying Ptah? Don't mind me, I'm just a Roman soldier coming through.
The dromos opened into a courtyard, with the surrounding portico graced with columns carved to resemble palm trees. During special festivals, the general population was allowed to enter this location, but under no circumstances would they be allowed into the sacred spaces beyond the courtyard.
But yeah, as I was saying, Sage, I've given Scott fair warning that you're going to be asking him how Dark Souls turns out. And for what I've told him about you, he's excited to meet you. Online, at least. Wait, what is this? Model Quatrefoil Almeto Capital. What the? Could I at least get some like indication of what that thing was used for? The Alabaster Sphinx of Memphis.
Alabaster Sphinx was discovered in 1912, almost completely buried in water and sand. 8 meters in height and weighing in at roughly 90 tons, it is still mounted on its original
Not yet.
pedestal. Though it is called the Alabaster Sphinx, it was in fact carved
Don't repeat
from common
this
calcite
aloud,
rock, which is similar
but I might
in
suggest
appearance
that
and
the
texture
class
to
sketch some
alabaster.
ideas of their own to the game. No worries. I won't say anything. Near the remains of Memphis stands the Alabaster Sphinx, Egypt. Hell, if it helps the art class, then by all means get them to sketch something. Because what was it I heard from a art YouTuber? Every person has 1,000, or was it 10,000 or was it 1,000? 10,000 bad drawings in them. The sooner you get them out, the better.
To determine when it was created. Egyptologists believe that its facial likeness resembles Amenhotep II, and so it could have been sculpted somewhere between 1700 and 1400 BCE. It is believed that this monument once stood outside of the Temple of Ptah and was integrated into subsequent extensions to the complex.
Sorry, what was that first thing again? Erosion has destroyed the original engravings, making it difficult to determine when it was created. Oh. Sphinx of Amenhotep II. I quit the AC series, but I love watching you play them. Well, I'll be taking a bit of a break from the Glitch Hunter work, because I'm been kind of burned out with the work I've been doing for it lately. So I'm trying to focus on building my own audience, not just Glitch Hunters. But if you love watching me play games, Mohammed, then that actually means the world to me.
The size of the imposing sculpture reflects the importance it had to the temple during the New Kingdom.
Are we in a staring contest here? What's going on?
Few remaining artifacts from the ruins of Memphis to survive.
Jesus. And hang on, I just need to check one thing. Does that have eyeballs in it? Holy crap. You can actually see the pupil of the eye. That is creepy.
In Egyptian culture, some animals were associated with gods, while others were considered to be living gods. The Apis bull was believed to be a divine entity. The earliest mention of the Apis bull in ancient Egypt goes back as far as the first Egyptian dynasty.
A bull. Really? A bull. And here we have a picture of a priest making an offering of lotus to the Apis bull, protected by Iset. I'd always pronounce that as Apis. I don't know if I'm the only person. Sorry, out the way. Statue of the divine Apis bull.
Of fertility, the Apis bull was linked to the god Ra, with the image of the sun carried between its horns. Later,
That's
it
a hell
was
of a weight.
associated with Osiris, the ruler of the underworld, thus becoming the funerary divinity Osiropis. During the 18th dynasty in Memphis,
I'm
the
happy. I'm not.
Apis
I don't take
Association with
exams.
the city's
I'm
deity
not in school.
earned it the title Herald of Ptah.
No, I've just got to
The
work
Apis
each day.
bull was so revered that even Alexander the Great, upon his arrival in Memphis,
I think it's Sage who's
gave
got the
honor
easiest life.
to Apis.
Right. Sorry, what did that say? I was too busy talking.
Originally the symbol of fertility,
Oh.
the Apis bull was linked to the god Ra, with the image of the sun.
I didn't mean
carried
to get him to
between
start
his
talking.
horns. Later it was associated with Osiris, the ruler of the underworld, thus becoming
No, I'm really
the
not.
funerary divinity Osiris. During the 18th dynasty in Memphis, the Apis bull's
What was she
association
looking
with
at?
the city's deity earned it the title Herald of Ptah.
And again
The
with
Apis bull
Ta.
was so revered
In no way do I have the easier life.
Upon his arrival in Memphis, gave honor to Apis.
Touche. Touche. Right. Let me just read through this, because that's twice now we've tried to play that and he's been talking, I've not been listening. Originally the symbol of fertility, blah blah blah, right, we read this. Sorapis, that was what I heard last. During the 18th dynasty in Memphis, the Apis bull's association with the city's deity ended the title Herald of Ptah. The Apis bull was so revered that even Alexander the Great, upon his arrival in Memphis, gave honour to Apis. See, now the class thinks I don't do anything. Well, to be fair, in your defence, in your teacher's defence, kids, teachers do work their asses off. It's just a question of whether or not students pay attention.
The Apis bull lived with its harem in a sacred barn located in an enclosure in the temple.
Whoa, whoa,
of Ptah.
whoa.
Each bull
Time out! Did he just mention that the bull had a fucking
29
harem?
signs representative of its divinity. Among them, the bull had an eagle-shaped mark on its back, a double tail hair, and a scarab-shaped mark under the tongue. The signs were intended to correspond with the lunar cycle. After its death, Egyptians would search for its reincarnated form among the
Take back my
livestock.
pizza and wings. Wait, did you actually give out a pizza, like pizza and wings to the students? Why would why does a bull need a harem? Is that hell yeah that you passed out pizza and wings to the students?
Like other
What's my
living
teacher's done that?
beings, the mortal incarnation of the Apis bull was prayed to, and when it died, it was given a luxurious funeral, which included mummification. Until the reign of Ramses II, the Apis
I'm
bulls
saying
were
nothing,
buried
Mohammed.
in individual graves
It's Sage's
in
class you need to worry about.
During the 26th dynasty, the bodies of the bulls were buried in enormous stone vats in the underground corridors.
Personally, I'm
of
not a
the
Fortnite
Serapeum
player,
of
but
Memphis.
if you like Fortnite, that's your prerogative. I will just not be held responsible for any slagging you get. Right, Apis bull burial. What was he talking about? Like other living divinities, the mortal incarnation of the Apis bull was prayed to, and when it died, it was given a luxurious funeral which included mummification. Mummifying a bull. Funny. Until the reign of Ramses II, the Apis bulls were buried in individual graves in Saqqara. Well, I'm sorry, but they've started. I like this class. I apologise, Mohammed. I didn't know that was going to happen. But that's funny. During the 20th dynasty, the bodies of the bulls were buried in enormous stone vats in the underground corridors of the Serapeum of Memphis. I blanked for a second there on what I was saying. Please don't be too mean to Mohammed. If he likes Fortnite, he likes Fortnite. Press F to pay respects. Where's my laptop?
Ancient Egyptians believed that temple rituals were essential to maintain order in the cosmos and allow communication between humans and gods. The pharaoh was required to bring offerings, as part of a twofold promise made to the gods, to remain a just ruler and to prevent chaos from entering Egypt.
What is it with folk walking past me giving me the shady? Oh, and you can probably see these circles in the floor, guys, but that means if we stand on them, we can, like, interact with we can act like we're a member of Egyptian society. Which is quite ironic considering we are a Roman soldier. This person's army invaded Egypt. Now get up.
Details of the ceremonies found
We're only on station 13. Jesus,
provide
8
a
minutes.
thorough overview of the stages of the daily ritual. Performed 3 times a day to mirror human meal times, each step of the highly symbolic
Half these kids don't even know that I play video games, but those who know me from last year know it comes at the end of the year. No spoiling. Okay, now you've got me curious. What's this? I have it so they can't see the chat. Sly. But you do realise that I just read that out, right? Papyrus showing ritual scenes performed by a divine worshipper. See, this just looks like a Primary 3's doodles. That's what that looks like. I remember doing, like, researching ancient Egypt in Primary 4. This is what this kind of stuff I draw.
The high priest would first awaken the sleeping god with a chant. Then the seals of the shrine's doors were broken and the bolts drawn back. The act of swinging open the doors was a symbolic gesture where sight was granted to the deity.
Hey, you should have said don't say it aloud. I'm innocent in this. My hands are clean, figuratively. Because I'm just covered in pizza sauce. Hey, sorry, what the fuck were you saying? The high priest would first awaken the sleeping god with a chant. Kalima. I had to. Then the seals of the shrine's doors were broken and the bolts drawn back. The act of swinging open the doors was a symbolic gesture where sight was granted to the deity. The priest would then bow and kiss the ground. Good point. Seal impression attached to a fibre tie from Tutankhamun's embalming catch. You're having pizza with us. Yes, I am. I just realised that. I have to ask, what kind of pizza did you pass out? Symbolic procedures.
The god was then washed with incense-infused water, and its mouth rinsed with mineral salts. The cleansing was followed by adorning
Did ancient Egyptians just have nothing to do?
royal garments. The final ritual required the priest to sweep away any footprints in order to prevent evil from approaching the god.
Red Dead is pepperoni and plain. Yes! Respect! Which Red Dead, Mohammed? I have to ask. Because if it's the first one, the online's good. But I prefer Undead Nightmare. Libation vessel and Nemset jar. From the reign of Tutankhamun. Right, what station are we on now? 16? Yes. Holy crap, we're still on this tour.
Source of new recruits. Rarely was an outsider allowed this position. At the top of the temple hierarchy was the high priest. Each temple dedicated to a god had at least one high priest devoted to its care and service. During the Ptolemaic dynasty, one family held the position of high priest.
We meant, is it Red Dead Redemption 1 or Red Dead Redemption 2?
Years.
Well, I meant that. I don't know if that's what Sage meant. Whoa, okay, that's not appropriate, but... Herasank, daughter of High Priest... Oh, fuck, sorry, 1. Yeah, that's definitely got the better multiplayer from what I've seen. Red Dead Redemption 2 is
High-priest candidates
mostly
made
just
their way up the ranks
GTA
of the
Online
temple
with
hierarchy.
Red Dead Redemption skin.
The one chosen to occupy the lofty position of high priest was usually confirmed by the pharaoh.
Still can't believe I'm playing this in front of
Several
a
of the
class.
high priests were also important officials in the government. Families sharing the highest priesthood titles
Kids want to know your
tended
top
to
3
make
games.
many alliances, thereby gaining more land and wealth.
Hmm.
Shifting balances of power sometimes resulted in more or less open
1 second.
conflicts between the priesthood and the pharaohs.
Right, top 3. Right. I have to ask a little bit of a ground rule first. Is it only one game per franchise? Because if so, I can sort that out easy. But if we're going for you can have multiple games for the same franchise, I can tell you right now, this is going to be really easy. Right, what is that one? Right. High priest candidates made their way up the ranks of the temple hierarchy. The one chosen to occupy the lofty position of high priest was usually confirmed by the pharaoh. Several of the high priests were also important officials in the government. Families sharing the highest priesthood titles tended to make many alliances, thereby gaining more land and wealth. They said one game per franchise. Okay, let me finish reading this and then I'll give my top 3. Shifting balances of power sometimes resulted in more or less open conflicts between the priesthood and the pharaohs. Priest in a leopard skin cloak with an inscription in Osiris on his skirt. Right. That's not too bad. Right. Top 3 games. First, actually, we'll start from 3. And this is where I give myself a bit of a problem, because I don't play much. But if I was to say off the top of my head... Actually, I'll start for 1, because I can work my way easier at that. Favourite game? Assassin's Creed Rogue. And I've got a feeling that a couple of Assassin's Creed fans in that room has probably just groaned. Second, Skyrim. And 3, you're gonna like this answer, Sage. Right now, Alice Madness Returns. That's my top 3. Sleeping Dogs. Good choice, Mohammed. All-time favourite? Yeah, I'll be honest, I wasn't that big a fan of it. I mostly just liked hopping on a bike and speeding around Hong Kong. But yeah, Assassin's Creed Rogue, Skyrim, and Alice Madness Returns. Right. Next station.
In the 21st dynasty, Thebes became the capital of an almost entirely theocratic government. The city was headed by king priests who spoke and governed in the name of the god Amun, in open opposition to the ruling pharaohs. These king priests caused a massive decentralization of power, known as the Third Intermediate Period.
And there's a picture of a necklace with floral ornaments and plaque dedicated to... What is it with Egyptian names? Pinagem I, King Priest of Thebes. Now, agree to disagree. Who was that directed at? Was that at me or Mohammed? I've got a feeling that was most likely directed at me for the comment I made on Sleeping Dogs. Oh. Go into the station, Jesus.
The educational institution in ancient Egypt
What is it with
was
people giving
known
me the
as
shitty?
the House of Life.
At me?
Attended by the
Wow.
offspring of the elite and the clergy. It was
Agree
a
to
place
disagree
to
how?
the social status of its attendees. The earliest references to this type of institution date back to royal decrees of the Old Kingdom.
Statue of... Oh, for Christ's sake, what is it with these names? Nakthorhib. Naktorhib? I'm going to say Naktorhib. In prayer. Head of Magi in the House of Life. We're on the
Only
20s.
two known
We're on the
centers been
20s.
uncovered. One in the abandoned city of Akhetaten, and one
That
at the
Rogue's a
temple
good
of
one out
Ramses
of this.
II on the west bank of Thebes.
I will give him that.
Inscriptions uncovered in those locations mention the names and titles of people who were connected with the House of Life, such as a chief physician and many scribes. It is presumed that by the late kingdom, every temple had a House of Life.
That Rogue is a good one out of the Assassin's Creed series. Yeah, it's not the best, but it's not the worst. I just like it because you're playing as a Templar. Alright, Mohammed. Take your time. We'll probably be here for a while. Right. A centre of
The
learning.
House of Life offered training for the elite, destined for occupations such as astronomers, doctors, veterinarians, diplomats, architects, translators, or theologians. Some institutions focused on specific disciplines, making them a central hub for the country.
I just need to check something. Right. Sorry, what was that? I just got to start talking again. Astronomy papyrus of Eudoxus. Right, shut up. Shut up.
Astronomers, doctors.
If a black bar just appeared in your like screen, that's because it's a notification from my PlayStation. It happens every time.
Dedicated to papyri of many disciplines. Because papyri were preserved there, the Greco-Romans referred to the House of Life as a library.
A scribe's tablet. Sorry, that just looked like he wrote with his face, just House of Life was a source of reference for many scholars, with rooms dedicated to papyri of many disciplines. Aye, because they wrote in papyrus scrolls, didn't they? Because papyri were preserved there, the Greco-Romans referred to the House of Life as a library. The library! Can you imagine asking to go to the library in those days? You'd be going, can I go to the House of Life? Makes you sound like an idiot.
Ancient Egyptian economy was based on an unequal system of redistribution of goods.
Unequal.
The state of Egypt collected the crops, and the temples distributed them throughout the provinces.
Bye! Thank you for
The only people capable
watching
of
my
counting
stream.
and ensuring a fair
That's-
redistribution were the educated scribes. This
You're
meant
still
that the
one
temples
evil woman for
played a
doing that.
pivotal role in this process.
Hey, if I help shape some young kids' future, I'm actually a wee bit happy about that. But yeah, that was probably not the best idea. Model of a granary with scribes. I am not evil. You showed a crude
There are
YouTuber
records
to
of
your
pharaohs
students.
making offerings of large tracts
I'm
of
literally just
land
sitting in
and
my bedroom
animals
playing a
to
game.
temples in order to maintain their favor. Ramses III offered generous gifts to the temple of Amun in Karnak in such a manner.
Be at least. Oh. Temple of Ramses II. Offering from Ramses II. Ramses III offered generous gifts to the Temple of Amun in Karnak in such a manner.
Palaces, warehouses, and granaries were built inside the temple compound to better control the redistribution of goods.
You showed them this stream.
The size of the recorded numbers of goods, combined with every other function filled by temples,
And get
only
an
serves
even
to
longer
confirm
test
their
next week.
might as economic, religious,
See what I
and
mean? You are
political
evil.
centers of power within Egypt.
You could have had them do the shorter test today. You didn't have to show them this stream. Palaces, warehouse and granaries were built inside the temple compound to better control the redistribution of goods. The size of the recorded numbers of goods combined with every other function filled by temples only serves to confirm their might as economic, religious and political centres of power within Egypt. Yeah. Oh, we're done? Oh, thank Christ. We're done with that one. Right, I'm going to go back to that pyramids one. Because, where's that pyramid one? Ah, there we go. Yeah, we can I simply offered a choice because I don't want a grade test today. Oh, so you wanted to get out of work? Is that it? Wow. Touche. Touche. A girl after my own heart. And about Jean P. Right, this is the one I was going to do. A 40-million-year-old fossil of a whale skeleton has been found in the Egyptian desert. Yeah, because it used to be an ocean. And besides, they've been getting good grades today. If they're good students, then I can see why. Just show them no mercy next week. Today and yesterday. Well, if they're good students, then they deserve a break now and then. But it's good. It was good to like help. Maybe if I help them a little bit, I don't know. Whoa!
Jean-Pierre Houdin's theories.
Welcome back, Mohammed. Don't worry, it's just us three now. Where the students are gone.
The team wanted
I'm not getting out of this, am I?
players with a sense of exploration and discovery, particularly within the Great Pyramid. As such, a decision was made that the internal design of the monument in the game would reflect Jean-Pierre Houdin's theories. While the antechambers of the King's Tomb have yet to be discovered, Houdin posits that this is merely due to a unique design, placing the pharaoh's tomb at the center of the pyramid. The entire tour you are about to take was designed along Houdin's hypotheses.
Okay. So yeah, I just recommend against making this a regular thing, Sage. I've just seen what that wee notification was. Yeah, I'm thinking of making this like a 2-hour long one, just to do
While
some
respecting Houdin's
decent
hypothesis
tours.
as to the general layout of the antechambers, the team wanted the contents to enhance the game experience.
Aye.
In regular royal tombs, the antechambers were filled with all the material goods needed by the pharaoh in the afterlife. To support the feelings of discovery and awe, the art team created a unique and fantastical treasure in this second antechamber.
Yeah, I think I remember what that treasure is. Yeah. Because frankly, I don't think I'd have the energy to help them anymore. Or just entertain them. Right.
Houdin theorized that the ascending corridor and the Great Gallery were used by the workers to haul hoist the heavy beams above the king's chamber. He called it the service circuit.
The service
The corridor
circuit.
you are in now was created by the team following
How is this a
Houdin's
corridor?
theory and is referred to as the noble circuit. It is through this corridor that the wooden sarcophagus
Yeah, I kind of figured that would be in the job description.
Transported to its final
Don't
resting
let
chamber.
students get out of tests. Kataya view of JP Houdin's theories with internal ramp and noble circuit, but my co-teacher isn't here. Wow. So just because you don't have someone balancing you out, you go, fuck it.
With this structure in mind, one can easily assume that the pyramid's entrance would have been connected to the two antechambers. Modern research
Well, this would
has
definitely be a
revealed
story to tell
that
Scott
a
tomorrow.
cavity might be located behind the north face chevrons of the pyramid. As such, the team chose to create this area for the player to explore.
Test is about
Here's
digital
where
art.
Houdin believes that the priests and nobles would have exited the pyramid after the
Fair
burial
enough.
ceremony.
No, I need to go back out and climb up. See, this game does not like me. Took advantage of the fact that you were playing and me not wanting to grade. Well, in a way it does have, like, isn't, like, forgive me if I'm wrong. You're the art teacher, so I'm probably speaking out my ass here, but in art class, don't you have to sometimes look at some pictures for research? There have been pictures included in this tour. So it kinda is a bit dodging work, but it's also a bit researchical. I don't know if that's a word, but I'm making it a word. Alright, Roman soldier, calm down.
Many theories regarding the construction of the Great Pyramid rely on the usage of external ramps. However, Houdet believes an external ramp would have been too steep for the upper portion of the pyramid. This is why he posits that there were two ramps. An external ramp for about half of the height of the pyramid, which then became an internal ramp for the second
I wouldn't really
half.
call it defending, it's just I see your point. Getting a view of Jean-Pierre Houdin's theory with internal ramp and noble circuit. Blah, 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 blah. Is this all just behind the scenes crap? Sorry, Mohammed, did you comment? I genuinely didn't see that. I apologise. Give me just a second. Genuinely didn't see that. Right, when my laptop arrives, I will download Assassin's Creed Syndicate, maybe stream it. Personally, I'd recommend any other Assassin's Creed than Syndicate, Mohammed. My console is always online, but I mostly play single player.
Houdet's theory states that this internal ramp followed the sides of the pyramid in an ascending spiral pattern. A notch discovered in the edge of the Great Pyramid, known as Bob's Room, seems to support this theory.
Bob's
Located
Room?
at the corners of each edge of the pyramid, these large rooms would
Is that them,
allow
Bob?
workers to turn the stone by 90 degrees, allowing them to continue the ascent. The team chose to create rooms such as this one, bringing Houdet's hypothesis to life.
Okay, I have to ask, Sage, was that your last class of the day, or was that like just the start of your workday? I try not to be online too much. Yeah, I don't even try and not be online. I am always online. Of course, I'm not going to just stream Assassin's Creed Syndicate. No, but last class. And what... I can see why you wouldn't want to stream. Jesus Christ. See, I'm in gamer mode right now. I can understand why you'd not want to do tests at the end of a school day. Holy crap, that I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy.
Through it,
Scott, though.
the blocks used to build the Great Pyramid would have been carefully moved upward and then turned at each edge of the pyramid in order to continue their ascent. Though the team only created the main ramp for the game, Houdet posits that this ramp had two levels, allowing workers to return safely to the bottom thanks to an additional corbelled upper section.
Madman account. Wait, am I on my Madman account? I thought I was on... Whoa, hang on, just a second. No, I'm on my... Yeah, I tend to be on my Madman Roberto 124 account. I say 124 because I got hacked.
According to Houdet, the start of the inner
Surprise at
ramp
the end of the
was
year is that I
located
bring
at
in
the base of the
my Xbox and
southeastern
teacher
face of
lens
the
as
pyramid.
PlayStation, and we set up two
This
classrooms
location
to
would
play.
have been the junction point of the external and internal ramps.
Touché.
Below us, workers would have built the lower part of the
Is this like a
pyramid with
yearly
the
thing for
external
you,
ramp,
or is this just
before
the
eventually
first?
switching to the internal ramp for the middle and upper sections of the pyramid. At that time in the process,
Yeah, I just
they could
used
have
this.
reused the
I just
material
used a
of the
TSI
internal
DoMiNaToR
ramp
account
to fill the
on
center of
PlayStation
the
Mohammed
pyramid,
to live
hauling
stream
the
to this
stones
channel.
in through the internal ramp.
There we go. Another tour done. We'll fast travel to this one and do it. It says it will take 4 minutes. Yeah, I've done it for the 3 years I've been teaching. Nice. Usually, well, to be fair, all my teacher would do at the end of the year is just say, right, you're done, you can do what you want with the computers, which is always go and play stupid games. Because obviously all the computers in school were blocked. The Great Pyramid Subterranean Chamber. Learn more about the internal structure of the Great Pyramid and more specifically the subterranean chamber. Is streaming stressful?
Welcome to the Great Pyramid.
It depends on how much. Really, because I don't know if you noticed during my marathon of the Assassin's Creed series over on Glitch Hunter Mohammed, but by the time I got to Unity, I was getting stressed out. But that's just because, one, work was doing my head in. Two, I'd been streaming games each night for months. And B, Unity was a very stressful game. So when I finished episode 6 of Syndicate, I went, nope, I'm not completing these games before Valhalla, I'm taking a break. And then it's the same way the work that I've been doing on Glitch Hunter for the past couple of weeks. I've been playing a game called Alice Managed Returns over there, and then I played its prequel. And then doing all that, I've thought, this is killing me, so I'll try and... I'm taking a break for Glitch Hunter to focus on building my own personal audience on YouTube, on this channel. So it depends on how much work you give yourself, really.
From the original entrance of the Great Pyramid, there is a passage leading to the subterranean chamber. Its walls were carved out of the existing rock of the plateau and then covered in a fine, unmarked limestone. The descending passage has a steep 26-degree downward slope. Narrow and with a low ceiling, this pathway is long and challenging.
Right. Cult of Cheops Pyramid. Detail on descending passage. Believe it or not, Mohammed, do you see any support we get for streaming? That's what keeps us going, or it's what keeps me going. Because the way I see it, if I entertain at least one person, then I've done my job. I've done what I set out to do. I've entertained, and I will keep doing it. I just realised that I forgot to ask for it. Ay ay ay. So you've basically just given them, like, you've just given the people in that, the students in that class who hadn't done their essays, time to finish them. Bravo, Sage. Bravo. I'm sorry. That was such a sarcastic reply. I couldn't resist.
While the original passage was 145 meters long, the team reduced its length and made it both wider and higher. The main focus of the work in reproducing the location was centered upon preserving the unique claustrophobic environment of the Great Pyramid, while still allowing for a smooth game navigation.
Yeah, you're fucked.
The well shaft was a 58-meter vertical passage that connected the descending corridor to the grand gallery above. An adjacent grotto may have originally been a small natural well in the bedrock that was enlarged during the tunneling. Whether the grotto was intended for another purpose is uncertain. There is much speculation over the purpose of the well shaft. One theory is that the channel was cut or enlarged to supply air to workers in the descending passage. Another is that it was meant to provide an exit route once the work was done in the heart of the pyramid. Without the well shaft, workers would have been trapped inside forever when the Grand Gallery was sealed. The opening at the bottom of the well shaft was most likely sealed by exiting workers to camouflage the passageway.
See, that's worrying, Mohammed, if it's not working, but emailing them feels like a biatch move, but I need those S's. Oh no. Jean Death 7.2 visited the well shaft. Could be either the account of the card. Maybe. Okay, I don't want to know any of the details of the card. I just want to know what kind of card is it. Is it like a Visa, a MasterCard, an Express, whatever the hell kind of card it is? Because it might be one that PlayStation doesn't support or accept, whatever the term is. It could be the fact that the PlayStation won't actually accept the card. MasterCards. It should take it then.
There is a subterranean chamber at the end of the descending corridor, 30 meters below the Giza Plateau's surface. Dug directly into the bedrock, the space is wide with a ceiling 3 meters in height. Its floors and walls are rough and uneven, indicating that it was never completed. At the south end of the room, there is another narrow corridor.
It may be the account.
Similar to the others, though it abruptly
Yeah, maybe your
ends
account
after
doesn't allow
roughly
for online
20
purchasing. I
meters.
don't see how that would be the case, but maybe it's something to do with that. The pit.
The chamber also contains an 11-meter pit near the east side. It's unclear what this may have been used for. In the game, this well leads to a fictive underground complex containing key game-related mysteries.
It's either I remain the ill teacher or rush them to type up 2-page essays art history. So you're the chill teacher.
The subterranean chamber's original purpose remains a mystery. One popular theory is that it was originally meant to be Khufu's burial chamber, but the pharaoh changed his mind, preferring to be buried higher up in the pyramid, which would explain the chamber's unfinished state.
Right, so are we all done with the Great Pyramid? Because I've got a feeling we're not. No, there's a fair few, but is it not a step pyramid? Yes, I was going to step pyramid complex. It's so hot in Egypt. I can imagine the sun beating down on you every second of every day wouldn't really. That'd kill me, I'll be honest. I wear mostly black. I would be swimming everywhere. Ah, what the hell. I'll be perfectly honest, live streaming doing the Discovery Tour is actually a far better alternative to just playing it. Playing it without an audience. Yeah, your co-teacher is going to kill you. You should email them. Get them to type up the S's and get them handed in. Because if you need them, you need them.
Welcome to Inside Djoser's Step Pyramid.
Yeah, I've noticed that playing this
Architect of the Step Pyramid, Imhotep,
like, without
was a man of great importance
people
to
watching me
Pharaoh Djoser
and people to
ancient
entertain,
Egyptians
this
in general.
this Discovery Tour gets boring
The base
very
of the
quickly.
statue of Djoser, discovered in 1926, celebrates Imhotep as a carpenter, sculptor, stonemaker, and chief of the seers. Little is known of Imhotep's day-to-day life. While he is credited for writing medical texts, it is for his role of architect that he is most famously known.
Yeah, it's good having someone to talk to while playing this. Or in this case, two people. One who's freaking out about our job, and yeah,
From the design of
but I don't usually get bored at Assassin's Creed. That's the problem.
complex itself, Imhotep set out to create something that would immortalize his king. An architectural achievement, the step pyramid was made from stone blocks instead of mud brick. It was the first time Egyptians built a monument of that height. Imhotep explicitly intended for the stone to reflect natural materials. The funerary complex of Djoser remained famous throughout the centuries and millennia, and its great architect, Imhotep, was deified by ancient Egyptians during the late period.
Okay, I figured it out. I'll tell her that I had to give them an extension. Why does it feel like... Why does it sound like you just pulled that out of your ass?
In addition to the central subterranean palace built for Djoser, 11 wells were dug. Each went to a depth of 33 meters and connected with a horizontal gallery extending for about 20 meters. The first 5 galleries were intended for members of the royal family.
So I assigned them a more important art project. Well, you definitely better pull something out of your ass now, Sage. I will admit, for how bad a student I was at school and how like awful some of my teachers were, it is kind of good to get to just watch a teacher squirm. Because I can picture you panicking, Sage, and it's quite funny. Because I'm pulling this out my arse. I missed my turn.
2 passages lead underground and branch off in 3 directions to various magazine galleries. This vast underground space accommodated sections for storage and ceremonial offerings. One of the tunnels, starting on the east side of the pyramid, contained 40,000 stone vessels, many of them belonging to the king's ancestors.
This just looks like somebody just diddled. Somebody just went mental with a pen. So do you think you'd be able to make up an art project out of nowhere?
The burial chamber of Djoser is located at the bottom of a 28-meter deep central shaft. According to Egyptologist Jean-Philippe Laure, the chamber was originally made from polished blocks of limestone, while its ceiling was decorated in 5-pointed stars. At some point, however, the limestone blocks were replaced entirely by pink granite blocks, leaving behind only fragments of limestone blocks decorated with stars.
I suppose this is like karma in a way for you telling them to go to my channel.
At the foot of the chamber are many tunnels going in all directions. This maze of tunnels, galleries, and chambers stretches over 5 kilometers. There are a number of dead ends and false doors. They may have been intended for the afterlife, rather than to fool thieves.
Pyramids of Saqqara, vertical section looking west, and the Pyramids of Giza from actual survey and measurement by J.S. Perry. I emailed my co-teacher, she said it's all good, and tomorrow I have to get them.
Unlike the Great
Is she the one
Pyramid
who,
or Menkaure,
like, is in
the
charge of the
Pyramid
class,
Djoser
or
does not
are
have
you
any
the one in
extra
charge of the class?
openings dug out by thieves. There was no need for them. Because of the easy access into the tunnels and along the corridors, thieves had little trouble clearing out the temples once inside. It is unknown when the mummy of Djoser was stolen. All that remained was a left foot, found by French Egyptologist Jean-Philippe Lauer in 1934.
It's fine, Mohammed,
This
if you had to find a
architect,
charger
who devoted his
that's
whole life to meticulously
unavoidable.
exploring
I'm
the
guessing you're
complex,
watching this on your phone then.
believed it belonged to Djoser.
Jean-Philippe Lau. Why would you steal a mummy? Don't you have anything better to
Pharaoh's
do?
apartments, also known as the Blue Chambers, are decorated with blue-green tiles meant to imitate the reed matting that covered the walls and windows of his palace. The stone is carefully curved and painted to look like the rolled mats of open doorways and curtains.
That just looks like someone picked them up off the bathroom floor. Nope. Missed my turn.
There are two long rooms running side by side along a north-south axis. The south room has false doors separated by stone panels, while the north room is a corridor which allows access to side chambers. Nearby chambers originally housed the pharaoh's treasures.
So I am technically the co-teacher by paper, however she wants me to be the main teacher in order to get my experience.
The door frames are made of fine limestone and
Fair
carved
play.
with the king's name. As in the south tomb, reliefs are carved into the doorways. These reliefs show the king performing rituals and visiting divine sanctuaries for all eternity. Their interiors are fictive additions made by the team to add to the wonders of the tomb. It is clear from the elaborate detail and scale of the complex that this funerary monument was a technological marvel of its time.
She'll be thinking, oh, I left you in charge for one day. One day. How do I get out of here? Let me out, I'm trapped in this shithole. I don't want to die in here. Right. Is this? No, this is leading me out. That's good. Right. We are back out. And I believe that is the end of that one. Oh, what the hell, we'll do a... wanna die, why is it so hot in Egypt? Hell, Scotland's been getting quite warm itself. Oh, what the hell, we'll do a couple of... oil in ancient Egypt. I'll say as much, Mohammed, I don't envy you. Nothing worse than a broken charger.
Welcome to Oil in Ancient Egypt.
Why would you make an entire tour for oil?
Castor, sesame, and moringa were the source of the most common oils in ancient Egypt. Oil was used for various purposes: cosmetics, medical treatments, nutrition, perfume, athletics, and rituals, to name a few.
Meanwhile,
The
it's still
team
cold in New
decided
York.
to use oil as an explosive to add more gameplay opportunities for the player.
Because it's just luck of the draw and where you end up getting born. I was born in a place where it's like perpetually pissing rain. Sage is stuck somewhere where it's freezing. You just happen to have the luck of being born in Egypt, which is one of the hottest countries on the fucking planet.
Ancient
I
Egyptians
say Scotland pisses rain, but it's clear skies here.
in wick lamps,
But it is
also
cold.
for cosmetics, such as facial and hair treatments. There is mention in some papyrus of castor oil being prescribed to treat constipation and help pregnant women.
What?
Castor beans were found in ancient Egyptian tombs as early as 4000 BCE. Castor oil was made by pressing the beans from the plant of the same name.
No, you don't. No, you don't. England's a bitch. Pulled my fucking microphone out there. Been sitting with it wrapped around my leg. Wait, oh, there was something that I just want to re-hear there. There is mention in some papyrus of castor oil being prescribed to treat constipation and help pregnant women. Helping pregnant women, I get, I respect. Why constipation? Why? Lovely. Get me to the last station, get me to the last station, get me to the last station.
Olive trees were present, though scarce, in ancient Egypt's early history, and olives were mostly imported from Syria and Palestine. Their use and cultivation remained uncommon until the mass arrival of Greek settlers during the reign of the Ptolemies, when demand increased sharply. Olive trees were normally found in the region of the Fayum and the lands surrounding Alexandria.
Didn't they also cut flour with plaster to make it heavier? Who, the Egyptians? Most likely. Why do I feel I want to sleep? It's fine. You remind me of something that guy Ace said in the Glitch Hunter channel, and I've told Sage this too, that he said I should read audiobooks because my voice is relaxing. What is it about my voice? Seriously, answer me that. How is my voice relaxing? How? I don't see how. I don't see how. I genuinely don't. Because Ace said my voice is relaxing, and I genuinely have no clue how.
Welcome to
I've always found it like
Egyptian
nails in a chalkboard.
Evidence of advanced medical procedures have been found on mummies, and ancient Egyptians left detailed medical writings from diagnosis to follow-up treatment. One of the oldest known surgical studies is the Edwin Smith Papyrus. It's one of the first documents in history that notes an association between the integrity of the brain and cognitive functions.
Sorry, that just must be something that people that aren't me get to realise, because I don't get it. I seriously don't.
Vinegar treated marble stone from Memphis.
I hear my voice and I'm just sitting there thinking, I want to die. I think I would be terrible at reading audiobooks. I genuinely do.
Another similar document, the Ebers Medical Papyrus, is over 20 meters long and 30 centimeters wide. It details treatments of 48 surgical cases and contains 877 paragraphs describing various diseases. Alongside accurate and factual scientific approaches,
Yeah, as it's your
the
tone.
papyrus has more than 700 magic formulas and incantations to ward off demons and disease. This demonstrates how ancient Egyptians believed in a harmonious balance between religion and science.
And they're about the only people in history who ever believed that.
Remedies were considered as medicine and carried by doctors and priests. Village doctors often had another job alongside their medical duties and the preparation of medicines.
Why did your phone just die,
The cure
Mohammed?
for blindness was made of fermented honey, ochre, and coal. The science behind it was that honey functioned as an antiseptic and antibacterial, while ochre would reduce the swelling. All of their knowledge did not always suffice. Ramses II died of an infection caused by an abscessed tooth.
Excuse me? An abscessed tooth. Ouch. Great and powerful pharaoh taken out by an abscessed tooth. Right, I think we have time for one more tour. Let's make it a bit of a short one. And then we can maybe call that there. Well, we had oil. Let's do wine, shall we? Marwan. Nice to meet you, Marwan. I nearly called you Arwan. I don't know why. Please don't be angry. Marwan. Am I saying that right? Nice to know that, Marwan. My name's Adam. But then again, I've made no secret of that. Right. Origin, production, and storage of wine in ancient Egypt.
Welcome to Wine in Ancient Egypt. When the god Horus lost his eye in a war with Seth, the ancient Egyptians believed the eye turned into a vine, and the vine's tears became
It's a very
wine.
common name.
Early texts, dating back to 3150 BCE, contain the hieroglyph for vine. Regarded as extremely valuable, wine was highly sought after by the elite. It was also an essential part of many religious ceremonies.
So basically, Egypt's way of life was just let's get wankered. That's what I'm getting from this. Fair play.
A millennia-old tradition. Grape cultivation and wine production was regimented in the way typical of ancient Egyptian bureaucracy. Egyptians kept careful records of winemakers, which they clearly identified on labels. Every landowner with a modicum of self-respect usually kept a vineyard. This held particularly true in the regions of the Fayum and the Nile Delta.
Right.
Documentation shows that only certain craftsfolk were allowed to provide the containers required to store and transport wine. That and rigorous quality control checks established for every step of wine production shows that ancient Egyptians knew that the quality and longevity of wine could easily be affected by any number of variables, which they paid careful attention to.
Okay, I have to ask, does that not look like the most exciting thing to ever chug out of? 'Cause I guarantee you could down that easily. Imagine chugging one of them. A taste for
Egyptians
quality.
had different kinds of wines, most of which ranged in quality from good to very good. The sweet shadé, to which honey had been added. The soft nejem, obtained by drying the grapes in the sun. The ma, reserved for religious ceremonies. And finally there was the Peor, the mediocre rated wine, resulting from the second pressing of grapes and reserved for a less discerning palate.
So basically the poor. Is Sage dead? Probably. It's fine. We won't force you or anything, Sage. It was just something that Mohammed wanted to do, but me personally, I really don't care if people know my name. For God's sake, there's a page on the GH wiki with my name on it, and I probably shouldn't have said that. But, yep, that's the final two we're going to do today, but we've got one more thing left to do. Just thinking of an art project. Well, while you do that, Sage, we are going to end that there. Yeah, I think this... Well, I think I can call this a successful stream, but personally I wasn't expecting to be put on show in front of a class. But yeah, that's definitely something that's new. So yeah. Anyway, I've got to go and do a lot of stuff and probably collapse in my bed and never get up until ISIS? That's actually a pretty cool name, I won't deny that. Let's say you're the first ISIS I've ever met. Well, actually no, saying it like that sounded bad. But that is actually a very pretty name. And yeah, that's where we're gonna end that there, Mohammed. But it's fine, it's fine. Don't worry about it. We'll stick with Sage. If you're not comfortable with your name getting used, I'm not going to use it to like try and make you more comfortable. If you don't want to, that's it. But yeah, that's going to be all for today, guys. But yeah, I think we can say that this has been a successful stream because, well, look at the time. We're gone for like nearly 2 hours. I wonder, could we stretch it out to maybe 2 hours? Yeah, this is definitely one of the best streams I've done, I'd say. Probably not in terms of viewers, but definitely in terms of messages. But yeah, as we do with Assassin's Creed games, we're going to end with a leap of faith. But is there anything either of you want to say before we wrap it up? I mean, I've got time. Aw, thank you. Thank you, Sage, for like one showing me to your class. Still can't believe you've done that. And the fact that they were enjoying what I did, that you're welcome, Sage. I'm not the kind of guy who would make any of my viewers feel uncomfortable. Well, you should go and get some sleep, because apparently my voice is relaxed and I have no fucking clue why. But yeah, so thanks for showing up, you two. It's definitely been... This has definitely been an experience of a stream. I don't know if... Well, obviously the next one's not going to be as much of an experience because Sage has learned her lesson. But what I'll have to say, out of the entirety of the comments we've had today, I'd say the one that Sage sent about me being shown to the class and Mohammed, where you said that you hope I become famous and you were showing me support for that. Both of those actually meant so much to me. I have to say thank you. truly from the bottom of my heart. I'm fucking nearly tearing up here. But, yeah, that meant the world to hear that, guys. It's totally part of the plan. Oh, wow. I will never know how me just sitting in my room playing games, making a fool of myself, is appealing. I really won't. But yeah. 2-hour mark! I knew we could stretch it out. But yeah. What the hell, synchronise this viewpoint. Don't need to, but might as well. So yeah, that's where we're going to end that there. We've done... How many tours was that today? I don't... Hang on. So bye, I guess, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 tours. 10 tours we've done today. Out of 20, 36, 50, 75. 10 out of 75. That is impressive. I normally don't do this many tours when I'm playing myself. But yeah, we are done. Any more tours and I will pass out myself. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Stay safe, keep on gaming. Like, favourite and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed and if you want to see more of this. And for me and my Roman soldier on top of this branch overlooking the Siwa Oasis, we shall see you in the next video. Bye! That was a long fall.